Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a review of the Ninjutso NPC XL. This is a really nice control pad, and the reason I don't have it on my desk yet, I just want to reiterate that I have been clicking more to speedier pads. I've been using glass a lot, like the Pulsar Superglide, and I have been using the hybrid pads along the likes of the Equate Plus V2. For me to click to a control pad, it takes quite a lot. I'm just not somebody who is naturally a control pad lover. And that really brings me to the NPC XL because this is definitely a control pad that I was able to click with. I think the overall quality of this pad is superb. The Poron is supposedly imported from Japan. It feels like the real deal. It plays like the real deal, and it definitely looks like the real deal in terms of its base and its overall ability to go in when you are pushing down with any bit of force. The stitching is absolutely beautiful. I think it is even on par, if not better, than Artisan, and we'll compare them side by side. But the overall difference of this particular pad from the likes of the Saturn Pro or the Artisan Zero is really going to come down to its speed and the feel of the surface itself. The Artisan Zero actually does feel a little bit more coarse, a little bit more granular, whereas the Ninjutso NPC has this nice smoothness to it that you kind of get with the likes of the Saturn Pro. I don't think it's as smooth as the Saturn Pro, but it's closer to that than the Artisan Zero. In terms of its overall speed, I think that the static friction and dynamic friction feel really nice even with the Viper V2 default skates and the core pads on my G303. You get a really nice, smooth glide, but dynamic and static do feel ever so slightly slower than an Artisan Zero XL. I do have an Artisan Zero XL in the soft variant on my left in orange. And again, you can really see the difference in that granular texture, that grainy texture compared to the Ninjutso NPC. And looking at the stitching again, you can really see how good the Ninjutso NPC looks even side by side to an Artisan Zero XL. In terms of the base, you can see the two side by side, the Ninjutso NPC base looking literally identical to an Artisan Zero. And overall, again, the speed, both with core pads as well as the default skates on my Viper V2, the speed feels ever so slightly faster on an Artisan Zero. So if you're somebody who's looking for something that is somewhat comparable in speed to an Artisan Zero, but you want a little bit more control and a smoother surface, I would point you to the Ninjutso NPC. It's an extremely good pad, both in its appearance and its quality side by side to an Artisan Zero. The one thing I would say is that the stopping power, when you are making stops on the Artisan Zero, you really can feel that and get a greater sense of your positioning because of that little bit of graininess on that texture that the Artisan Zero has. The Ninjutso NPC being ever so slightly smoother, you're really getting still amazing stopping power. You're just feeling it a little bit more on your skates on the Artisan Zero. In comparing the NPC to a Saturn Pro XL, both, again, extremely nice pads. The fact that we are even comparing the Ninjutso NPC to both the Zero and putting it in the likes of the Saturn and the Zero is a very positive thing for the Ninjutso NPC, I think at least. The Saturn Pro feels ever so slightly smoother on the skates, in my opinion, and remains faster than the Ninjutso NPC. So if you're somebody who was looking for a little bit more control than the Saturn Pro, the Ninjutso NPC, I think will provide that for you. It feels a little bit slower on static movements, and it feels a little bit slower on dynamic movements. Again, very minute differences. I think that for me, I've always kind of viewed the Saturn Pro as more of a balanced pad. I know others view it as a control pad. I think the Ninjutso NPC is a hair or two more along the lines of control over both the Zero and the Saturn Pro. All extremely good pads when you are looking at the Saturn Pro, both in its design, its build quality, and its cushioning, being able to get that extra bounce in, pressure in to be able to dig in and get a little bit more control. All very nice pads in that either balance to control market. The NPC, my personal performance, and the reason I click with this pad, it is something that if I'm not playing for a consistent amount of time, if I get very busy with my everyday job, and I don't have the time to just sink hours and hours and hours into a glass pad surface, I feel like I get inconsistent on glass. So it is nice having a pad that if I'm not playing consistently on those hard surfaces that I can swap to get that extra control when I need it. And I feel like I perform extremely well on this pad, just picking it up and getting that nice crosshair control when I need it. I think that I play beautifully on the pad. And the nice thing about it is it doesn't have any tug. So when you are gliding your mouse in game and you are needing to kind of swap very quickly in Apex for tracking, I never feel like the mouse pad is just magnetizing my mouse, which I absolutely hate that feeling. The Ninjutso NPC does not have that. It's an extremely well done pad, a really nice speed matching the likes of an Artisan Zero as well as a Saturn Pro. Again, just a hair slower, one that is a speed that wouldn't deter me from using it over those two pads. I think for you, it's going to boil down to if you want a little bit of a smoother surface than an Artisan Zero with a little bit more control. It is a beautiful pad, very well done. And again, the fact that we're putting it in the bracket of the Saturn as well as the Zero is a pretty beautiful thing and speaks volumes. I definitely recommend it. I hope that if you guys pick up the pad, you enjoy it. I think it's beautifully done. I hope the review helped. If it did, please leave a sub to the channel. I'll see you guys in the next review. Peace.